Oh, yeah. Let's get it. Welcome back to the Den of Nerds. I am Josh, and we have a fantastic show for you today. There's hope for Star Wars, or is this just the way she goes around? We're going to talk about it. Star Wars Celebration over the weekend. We talked a bit about it on Friday. There were announcements over the weekend. Generally speaking, I do think a lot of people are excited about several things going on for Star Wars. It's crazy. So, enthusiasm, hope, excitement. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about the different things that are exciting me, how I think the future could shake out for Star Wars. Can the brand survive 6 Rey movies? We're going to find out, and we're going to talk about it together. I also wanted to talk about comments made by Jon Bernthall. This is mostly about Daredevil Born Again Season 1, and there are 2 main reasons I'm bringing this up. Number one, I think it really just clarifies where his stance is at with the character, and this ties into comments he made about not wanting to come back for the original version of the show. And the second reason that I want to talk about this is because it basically confirms my suspicions about what the creative overhaul for Daredevil Born Again actually was about, which we've been talking about. But I think the picture becomes crystal clear when you hear what he said, and then we discuss it a little bit amongst ourselves. I think it's going to become obvious what actually happened with Daredevil Born Again. And there's 2 sides to that coin. There is the side of, oh, wow, well, you lied. And then there's the side of, but I'm actually still happy that you're making these changes. So we'll get into that, and we'll discuss it. I also wanted to go over today a pretty wild story. You know, we talk a lot about streaming. We talk a lot about numbers, Hollywood, entertainment, changing, consumer behavior, changing behavior from the studios. It's a wild time right now. Well, wow, do I have a story for you that's going to blow your socks off. Madam Web got more hours of viewership when its first week was released on Netflix than Deadpool and Wolverine got in its first week released on Disney+. Guys, that's insane, okay? And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to explain why. This actually does go right together with a lot of things we've been discussing about, brand, consumer behavior, accessibility, all of these different things. So we're going to get into that. It's wild. And, of course, we're going to save a lot of time for Q&A today. I'm sure you guys have all kinds of questions. Star Wars fans have questions about things. Marvel fans have questions about things. DC fans probably have questions about things. A lot of cool stuff going on in the world. And, of course, any single person wants to completely divert the stream and talk about Warhammer. I'm always down for that. So we'll do that in the back half of today's show in the Q&A section. I hope you guys had a good week, or a good weekend, rather. I had an incredible weekend, just spending time with family, hanging out, painting a lot of Warhammer, having a good time. So I had a good time. I feel pretty refreshed. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you're feeling refreshed, too. As far as show notes are concerned for this week, no watch party tomorrow night or ever again, thank God. So I'll have more time for Warhammer. Wednesday night, we will be doing a Nerdventure stream. And here's what I want to do. So I believe there's one more Wednesday this month, right? Yeah. So one more Wednesday this month. Here's what I want to do. I actually do want to do the deep dive on Kevin Feige. Some people have been talking about that. I think I shared a little bit of the research I've been doing on Feige recently, and a lot of you guys were like, whoa, why don't we talk about that in a Nerdventure stream? So I think we will do that, but we're not going to do that this week. We'll do it next week, for the last week of the month. I just want a little bit more time to prep that stream for you. So we're bringing deep dives back, and we'll deep dive into Kevin Feige and his career, his thought process, what has happened in the last couple of years. It's going to be, I think, a really, really good deep dive. I'm already fascinated with some of the things I've uncovered in my research, so I think it'll blow you guys away. But what we're going to do this Wednesday is we are going to have a Marvel Rivals stream, but it's going to be different than a lot of the Marvel Rivals streams we've been having. We're not going to play Marvel Rivals. We are going to spectate some Marvel Rivals. Number one, I want to watch some top-level games And I want to not only see like what the gameplay is like and how that goes, but I also want to see what the casting is like. How do the people that do the broadcast, what's that like? What's some of the verbiage that they're using? The cadence, all sorts of stuff. We need to do our homework, right? Because we're about to have our big Nerdvengers Rivals tournament. I'm going to be casting that, and I want to do a good job. So this Wednesday, we're going to deep dive on competitive, high-level Marvel Rivals play, and we're going to watch some broadcasts of it as well. So we'll do that for a couple hours, hang out on Wednesday night. I think it should be a good time. Should be really fun. And then we'll do the deep dive on Kevin Feige next week to close out the week. So that's generally speaking the show notes for you. Other than that, I don't really have any announcements. It's Monday. I'm starting to touch base with different people out there, so I don't really know exactly what's going on with like Unity or some of these other things. So I'll have more info maybe for you guys tomorrow, but I think that's going to probably just be what the week is this week. So yeah, that's what we got today, man. And I think it's time. Let's get into it. Let's just begin by talking about Star Wars Celebration. Now, obviously, Star Wars Celebration, big deal for the Star Wars brand, happens every 2 years. I think there was like a year they skipped and it like threw off the schedule, but it happens every 2 years, generally speaking. And they just had a big one in Tokyo. And they did announce, as is tradition, at the end of Celebration, that the next one will be in 2027 in LA. Okay, so Celebration, kind of like their big convention. It's a big place to not only give fans a really cool experience, but also to update fans about what is coming for the brand. And I think this year, I think they did pretty good. And the main thing I want to go over in this segment of the show is like, I actually believe that there is some hope for Star Wars. Despite a lot of things going wrong, despite my own personal feelings towards Star Wars, I found myself getting excited for several things that were announced, genuinely excited. And I kind of had this thought that this might be the worst it will ever be for Star Wars as a brand right now. We might be in the like lowest period ever. I mean, could it potentially get worse? Yes. If Mando Grogu, underperforms and bombs, if Sean Levy's movie bombs, if Kathy stays around for 5 years and we're getting Rey movies forever that are doing like 200 or 300 million worldwide, yeah, that's devastating. Okay, so I don't want to get it twisted. It is technically possible that it could get worse. However, I think it's really bad. Not everybody agrees with me. There's some people out there that think that Star Wars is doing fine. But I mean, if you just look at the trajectory mostly of the Disney Plus shows, which is all they have, it paints a really scary picture. Acolyte performing so badly that it was canceled. Skeleton Crew can't even perform at that level. Never charted ever. And it was the lowest viewed Star Wars show ever with Skeleton Crew, which is crazy because I know some people think it's really good. A little bit of the Daredevil effect there, where fans are just fatigued and they just simply don't care, which will come up again when we talk about Deadpool and Wolverine on Disney Plus as well, right? So having said that, and having, truly, I feel as though this might be the lowest that it will ever be, I was kind of shocked that there was stuff that I could get excited about. So as we talked about on Friday, right, I think the Mall show, man, I'm getting more and more excited about Mall. There was obviously the panel, the announcements. I actually scooped that a couple of weeks ago because I was like, I just threw it into that video. I thought it would be cool. And it was confirmed. But then the leaked trailer came out, right? And the leaked trailer is just like, oh, man. Like, that is really cool, dude. I already thought they were cooking. But when you see that leaked trailer, holy. And then the fact that it's going to be Darth Talon. Oh, my goodness. Just really, really cool. I think it's probably, Ahsoka Season 2 is my most anticipated Star Wars thing. But Maul is right under it. Like, the Maul show, I think is going to be a big moment for Star Wars as a brand. I think it's going to capture that Clone Wars energy. I think like, I think it's truly a show, and you can't really say this about a lot of other things. You cannot say this about Andor. You cannot say this about Ahsoka, because in some ways, those two shows are diametrically opposed, and you've got a bunch of pinky out butthole people that prefer Andor, and then you've got like actual Star Wars fans that prefer Ahsoka, right? I think the Maul show has the best chance out of all these shows to bring all of those fans together and get them excited. Now, of course, it's a cartoon, it's animated, but I think Star Wars specifically has had such a rich history being connected to animation. Animation is such a big part of it. I mean, Clone Wars on Netflix. It's so funny that like Netflix is lingering over this entire discussion today as this very fucking influential thing. But it is true that when the Clone Wars was on Netflix, it was one of the biggest things that was being watched on Netflix, and it did so much heavy lifting for the Star Wars brand and introducing it to all sorts of people for years. Okay? So I really think that Maul has a chance to be incredible and to really bring the fan base together. So I think the Maul project seems really, really cool. We spoke a lot on Friday about Sean Levy's movie. A lot of questions there, but for me personally, I can see an outcome in which Sean Levy helps to put Star Wars back into a place where it should be. You know, we talked about the 15-year-old male protagonist that is being trained. We talked about the couples that are the villain, or the male and female villain. You know, the Goss character, the Goss himself is some kind of force-trained person that has a wife. There's a lot of really interesting elements there. And ultimately, if it just gives us like a young shonen type story, like we're following this young protagonist as he develops and goes on an adventure, I mean, I think that just strikes all the right tones. It feels like Star Wars to me. And, you know, Levy himself could be the perfect guy to like bring that back and to just reestablish that mythos and that DNA for what Star Wars is. So I have questions. I have concerns. But at the end of the day, I am still excited that is going to be the next big movie other than Mando and Grogu. So much better than Charmin Obed-Chinoy, activist Rey movie, like, frankly, right? So there's some good stuff here. Now, over the weekend, stuff that we didn't talk about on Friday, of course, the Ahsoka Season 2 panel. And holy crap, it was, I thought it was incredible. They're definitely cooking, and of course, they sort of confirm a lot of stuff that I talked about in my leak video. We're not going to go full leaks here. I don't like to do leaks on the live streams. But of course, they announced that Anakin Skywalker is coming back, that Hayden's going to be a big part of the show, which, of course, we scooped. But it's so cool that they're doing that they're putting that out on Front Street. And I think, one thing about Hayden, man, the enthusiasm, just the presence that he brings, I think is so good for the brand. Him and Ahsoka together, they're so good together. Just like on stage together, they're so good together, and it feels good. So I'm really, really excited about it. What Filoni said, he said a couple of interesting things as far as like the mythos and what they're building. Obviously, Akbar and Thrawn, that's a whole thing, which is not in the video I made at all, because frankly, I didn't actually hear a lot about what's going on with Thrawn and that side of things. So I'm curious to know more. But I love this idea of Akbar coming back. I mean, once again, like, Dave bringing this awesome legacy character back into the fold. The Akbar actor was literally crying inside of his mask at how poorly he was treated by Kathleen Kennedy. You know what I mean? So it's like you just see this story over and over again. Dave doing the heavy lifting to try to bring, the right things back. I love it. Akbar, let's go. Akbar versus Thrawn, let's go. I think it's fantastic. That's going to be great. Obviously, a lot of this stuff going on Peridia with Baylan Skoll and all those sort of things. Those were spoken about. We got to see what Rory looks like as Baylan. I think he looks great. I think they're even going to adjust it. That was a screen test. So when he actually has makeup full on for the show to look even better, I would imagine. And, you know, the thing about Rory, it's so interesting because him and Ray were friends in real life. They were really close. And Dave got the blessing of Ray's widow. Rory got the blessing of Ray's widow. And it's like this really feel-good thing of like trying to honor what Ray had done and push the character forward. Now, Dave says one thing that's really interesting in that whole thing, where he said, Balin's a really important character. In some ways, he's an antithesis to Ahsoka. Now, I don't want to go into like spoilers, but just think about what that means. Like, given the wider scope here, think about what that means. Very, very interesting. And, you know, Dave talked about the Mortis gods and how big that was going to be, how impactful that will be felt. And yeah, so, you know, you can go watch the leak video I did about it, and it's all real, and it sounds incredible, and I'm really, really excited. So the Ahsoka Season 2 panel was great, and I'm really, really hyped up about it. They dropped some video game stuff over the weekend, too. I'm not super sold on this XCOM RTS kind of thing that they're trying. I like those kind of games, but I like those games. I like multiplayer in them. I like to be able to play against other people. Real-time strategy is just so fun against other opponents. So I don't know that I would play a solo experience XCOM Star Wars game. Having said that, it does look sharp. You know, you can't deny it. It looks sharp. It looks good. I think fans that are big fans of those games will be into it. But man, I didn't need Celebration to get excited about Star Wars Fortnite, because ironically, one of the best things going on for Star Wars is Star Wars Fortnite. Over the last 3 years, every single time Star Wars collabs with Fortnite, it is fucking incredible. It is some of the best Star Wars content, Star Wars gaming content. I have some of the most fun that I can have with Star Wars as a brand in the Fortnite. And dude, this new Star Wars Fortnite season that's coming, oh my God, like it looks extensive. They went for it. Darth Jar Jar, which I find hilarious, memey, and just really, really fun. 5, I think, different parts to the season, so like a building narrative. And remember when Dave and Feige were on stage for the epic panel? I don't know if you remember this. I remember it. But they were both brought on stage. I believe it was at D23 last year. And first of all, I love seeing those two dudes on stage together and like, just, you know, get Kathy out of there kind of thing. But they were both talking about the collabs that they had done with Fortnite. And at the time, we were about to get into the Doom season, right? And the return to season 1 and all that sort of stuff, which, by the way, like, it was fun, but, like, I'm going to be real, it wasn't as good as it should have been, in my opinion. The Marvel season, I love the weapons. I thought they were really fun. I had a good time with it, but it wasn't as good as it should have been. I can't believe that what Dave cooked up with them is seemingly so much more involved and so much better. Kind of wild, but a rare Star Wars W over Marvel, because I think the Star Wars Fortnite stuff is going to be incredible. And I think we're going to play the shit out of it and have a lot of fun. Like, I'm telling you right now, I love the Star Wars Fortnite stuff. And it seems so cool what they're cooking there. So that's really good. The Star Wars Eclipse game made some updates, talked about how they're still doing their thing. They're still going to try to make that game. And to this day, that trailer is maybe one of the coolest pieces of Star Wars content we've had in 5 years. Like, it's very cool. And then it was tragic to hear that, like, that shit wasn't going to happen or whatnot. So various, like, positive updates, right? So you have, like, various positive updates. Now, I do want to say that just like last time, like the last celebration, it's really easy to come out of a celebration feeling very excited and being quite hyped up on stuff. The problem with Star Wars is, like, after last celebration, most of what they announced never came out or came to fruition. And a lot of it wasn't even discussed this celebration. So it's almost like, you know, this in and out kind of thing. Like, it's over, we're so back. I've often described Star Wars under Disney and my experience as a fan as an abusive relationship. You know, I just keep coming back for more, and Kathleen Kennedy keeps sucking me in the face, right? It's like, it's kind of brutal. At the same time, I do have optimism and excitement for a lot of the stuff that was announced. You know, Levy's film, I'm kind of like, but like I genuinely believe that it has the potential to set things right in many different ways. And if that happens, by the way, like, dude, Sean Levy might be one of my favorite dudes on the planet if he pulls that off, because we need it. Frankly, we need it. Like, really fucking badly, we need it. Dave is absolutely cooking. Ahsoka season 2 is going to be nuts. I don't even have to say more. Like, it's so good. Video game stuff seems really positive, and there was just like a good vibe. It's good to see Star Wars fans excited about Star Wars. It's good to see, like, you know, because even Theory made like a video about the mall thing and it popped off for 100K, and it's like, dude, it's good to see that. Like, there's hope here. I think it's possible, even if Kathy sticks around for 5 to 6 years, even if she makes it like really difficult for new or even really older George Lucas kind of Star Wars to thrive, Dave is still CCO. And if you think about, like, for me, it's like, I think about Maul, so excited for Maul. I think about Ahsoka season 2, I'm so excited for Ahsoka season 2. You think about even Mando Grogu, it's like, it's really iffy for me on if that shit's going to be dope. But if it is, I believe Dave will be a big part of that. John will be a big part of that. And if it feels like that kind of stuff and it's adventure, you know, that's a vibe. I mean, frankly, it's more up my alley than Andor and, you know, all of that. So I kind of came to this conclusion where I was like, you know, this is, for me, absolutely the lowest point of my fandom for Star Wars. It's bad. Really upset about it all. And if myself, at the lowest point of interest, at the lowest point of enthusiasm, as the lowest point of hope, can somehow, some way, still find a way to be excited about some projects. I mean, I just think that it might be the case, and this is going to sound a little controversial. I'm starting to think that Star Wars can't actually die. At least it can't die so long as some of the sauce that George left is still being used as an ingredient. You know? Because, like, look, Andor's about to come out, and, like, look, I can't even really talk a lot about Andor. I'm certainly not going to watch the show. I think you guys know where I stand with it. And soon you'll realize that I was right about the controversy. And, you know, you'll decide for yourself how that hits you, how you feel about it, etc. But, like, I had this sort of moment of reflection where I was like, okay, so that's all real, and I'm like, fuck Andor for sure. But I just can, like, ignore it. And then because they're not making any more of that shit, you know? So I can just ignore it and then get excited about the stuff that I like. And so maybe if Star Wars and if Dave can keep serving up stuff that feels like it's for me and fans of, like, more of the George Lucas stuff and whatnot, then maybe we can survive a couple of grape scenes in Andor. And by the way, that's not even, they're also breaking lore in Andor. You'll see. People are going to talk about it. You know, I'm interested to see how people talk about it. For me, I just don't give a fuck. It's all not Star Wars to me. But maybe we can survive a little lore breaking, a little grape. So long as there's still the spirit of the thing I love. You know, I don't know that I'll ever get so disgusted with Star Wars that I won't get excited when I hear a lightsaber. You know? I don't know that I'll get so butthurt about Star Wars that I won't get excited if I hear a John Williams theme. Or a version of it, you know? And ironically, like, I'm kind of at this place where, like, I'm really excited. Like, Ahsoka, Maul, these are, like, really, really high on my list. I can't even think of any Marvel shows, and there's only a couple Marvel movies that I'm actually more excited about than Dave's stuff. So, what a world. You know, what a world, and what a place to be in as a fan and for a franchise. And I think at the end of the day, even if we have to suffer 5 more years of KK as a producer, and even if Ray pops up in the Ryan Gosling movie and she's like, peekaboo, bitch, it's still about me. Like, maybe that all fades in time eventually anyway. You know, I think Dave has a long, long career left at Lucasfilm, much longer than Kathleen Kennedy has. And so long as he is there and other people are there to kind of carry that torch, maybe this is the lowest it'll ever be. And it will survive this, and it will continue on. I don't know. It's weird. You know, it's frankly like a weird place to be in, because I still have all the negative feelings that I have. And after we wrap this, after we wrap this segment, I don't even know when I'll discuss Star Wars again. You know, I guess I'll touch on the Andor controversy when it happens, but like, I'm not reaching for Star Wars shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, oh, what Star Wars game do I want to play? Or like, do I want to watch that? No, like, I'm still very much on the outside here. But there's still stuff that I think is going to be good, that I can get excited about. So I don't know. Optimism. Maybe some of the most milquetoast optimism you've ever heard. Begrudging optimism even. But that's where I'm at with it. So I have some hope, and I just wanted to put that out there and kind of express the take. I don't know how you feel about it. You can let me know either in the comment section or when we get into the Q&A portion of today's show. Is there hope? Will it ever die? We'll see. Okay, jumping into a couple other things here. I want to talk about Jon Bernthal a little bit, okay? So I want to pull this up for you, and look, just listen to the man himself and the way that he said it. But let's give some context here before we go full on into this, okay? So a couple of different things going on here. Number one, Bernthal was very vocal about how the original version of Daredevil Born Again, he was not going to come back for it. He said it in interviews. He said it a lot to fans. And I remember there was this poor girl named Cam, I think was her name. We talked about her a couple of weeks ago. So this poor girl, in October of last year, met Bernthal at a Comic-Con. And she reported on Twitter what Bernthal had told her. And what Bernthal had told her was that the original version of the show was just so outside of the character of Frank that he was not going to do it. And a bunch of people like Daniel RPK and Big Screen Leaks and Skylar Schuler and the usual band of toxic positive fuckfaces actually led the charge to harass this poor girl online. And the reason they did this is because they don't want anything outside of what their strict and weirdo political lensing thinks should be allowed for these characters. Okay? And then Bernthal himself confirmed that this year as the show is going on. So Cam was always right and all of these fuckfaces were always wrong. Okay. Well, fast forward to the finale of the show. And in the finale of the show, of course, Frank confronts some of the corrupt cops, the fanboys that had his logo on it. Now, this is a big political thing for whatever reason. A lot of military people, blue-collar workers, cops, firemen, you know, people that serve, they find a kinship with the Frank Castle character. And they like to put the Frank Castle skull on their body armor or their shirts or on the back of their pickup trucks or whatever. This, that, second, and the third. And a bunch of limp dick fuck faces have not only have a problem with that, which frankly, like, you're allowed to have a problem with that. But if you think your problem with that entitles you to change the dynamic of the character, to sort of preach or control what it is according to your ideologies, then you're gross. So the reason I'm bringing all of this up is because in the finale of the show, Frank does encounter these police officers and he kills a lot of these cops. And you saw a bunch of buttholes online basically expressing and trying to influence the conversation on social media by saying that, you know, good for you, Frank. He would never, he hates these corrupt cops, and like kind of taking this stance is almost like, hey, we got what we wanted out of this character in this show. And as I pointed out, and this was before these comments came out here from Bernthall, if you really knew what the other version of the show was, which they all do, they're just so bad faith they acted like they don't. If you knew what the old version of the show was, and you paid attention to the dialogue given from Bernthall, it was pretty fucking obvious that he was not going to play ball with this idea of denigrating the idea of officers or blue-collar, military-esque people finding a kinship with Frank. You could just tell by the language. Instead of saying, cops, this, that, second, and third, it was always fanboys, etc. Even the way that he talks about it, he's not besmirching them for their service. He's besmirching them for being psychos and whatnot, right? So, anyway, this still wasn't crystal clear for some motherfuckers online. So, the man himself came out and gave some comments, and I'd like to play those comments for you right now.
The Marine Corps and that community for helping me on this journey, helping me write, helping me find this character. Some of the best people that we have in this country have worn that Punisher skull in their body armor when they've taken that that unbelievable walk into danger to stand up for our country. That's something that I take enormously seriously. I make the show for them. I make the show with them, and it's I just really want to get it right.
No, you got it right. So
oh boy, I appreciate the Marine Corps and that community for helping me on this journey, helping me write, helping me find this character. Some of the best people that we have in this country have worn that Punisher skull in their body armor when they've taken that that unbelievable walk into danger to stand up for our country. That's something that I take enormously seriously. I make the show for them. I make the show with them, and
So I don't think he could have made it any more clear, where he stands, how he feels about those people, what he's trying to accomplish. And I don't think this was rude or out of pocket. I mean, frankly, I'm being so much more rude about it than he is, because I don't give a fuck. But, look, at the end of the day, I really respect not only these comments coming out and being crystal clear, but I got to say, I respect his unwillingness to bend. Now, this takes us into another conversation about the content of Born Again in general, because of course, this is a show that had this big creative overhaul. This was put in the Hollywood trades. They're discussing the idea that the show doesn't work. They sat down and watched it and all this creative change, etc., etc. Well, to me, when I looked at the show, I didn't feel like there was quality present to justify the overhaul. What I mean is, if it was the case that the first version of the show was goobly glob and all of the changes were made to make it so much better, I don't actually see the level of quality in the final product that would warrant that. And it just always felt a little sus, where I was like, really? They really creative? This is what we got in the creative overhaul? And what I said... I started saying this a couple of weeks before the finale, but it was super clear to me after the finale. This show was not creatively overhauled because of that. This show was creatively overhauled because it was so aggressively political. It had Punisher attacking corrupt cops. It had the mayor being this like crazy allegory for like Trump and Republicans and all this sort of stuff. It was like the worst version of what people call like the woke Marvel or like identity politics Marvel or whatnot. It was like the worst version of that. Like so much so that it's almost head scratching, like why and how they would have thought this was good in any way. But especially because of what we know from, John saying no to the show, these comments here. I mean, guys, I just really strongly feel that is what happened. Two things with this. On the one hand, right, it's kind of like it really feels bad, frankly. It really feels bad because it's like, dude, y'all kind of played us. Y'all kind of lied to us. And honestly, you did this with Captain America Brave New World, and you did it with the Daredevil show. What I mean is, like, you made this shit when you thought you could be aggressively political and like people wouldn't get butthurt about it or whatever. And honestly, people just don't want to be patronized. They just want to be entertained. It's not even about the issues. It's about like how dare you really is like the energy that I think is out there, right? And the studio spent hundreds of millions of dollars to remove all the flagrant shit and leave us with a shell of a product that like I cannot cheer for. I cannot cheer for Brave New World. I cannot cheer for this Daredevil show. I think they're trash, both of them. And look, am I going a little harder than most people? Sure. I mean, I just have different sensibilities. I get really bothered when a thing isn't crispy, you know? So, you know, maybe I'm getting caught up on it a little bit. Maybe I'm overreacting a bit, but that's just how I honestly feel. I cannot cheer for these shows, okay? So it's like wag of the finger, you know? How dare you? But here's the other side of it. And I think that you also have to be fair. You can't just get mad about how it ended up because ultimately, even though I think it should have been handled much better, I'm glad they are making these changes. I am glad they are making these changes. I'm glad at some fucking point they looked at what's going on and they were like, yeah, we're being a little ridiculous, to be honest. And this shit isn't going to fly. So, look, I think we're still in a place with Marvel where there is a lot of like weird shit going on, and there's still, you know, there's obviously still going to be like politically leaning things or left leaning things or whatever, you know, however you want to frame it, you know, you want to call it woke, whatever. I get it. There's still going to be stuff like that. There, by the way, there was always stuff like that. You know, I was just watching Lazarus last night. I love this anime. And there's a character there's a trans character, you know what I mean, in like the third episode. And I know for some people they're going to be like, and like, you know, whatever. But for me, I was just like, okay, it is what it is. It doesn't actually even bother me that much. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's a cool character, interesting thing they did there. And I still love the thing. I think it's stylish. I bring that up to say, I do think there are things more important substantively of the entertainment than just the little things that are going to pop up that are going to piss people off. It's more the case that when you start to feel like there's nothing to cheer for, like you're being disrespected and preached to at the same time, it creates like a really toxic feeling in the fandom, right? And I think that's what Marvel is doing. That's the path that they were on. So it will still have stuff in it. It's not like they're going to go, you know, it's not like the fanboy dream of like fucking Luke Skywalker taking Trenbolone injections, you know what I mean? Jacked to the gills like his original action figure was. And, you know, all of that. We're not going into that, nor should we. But it does feel like Marvel has pivoted, and frankly, Star Wars has pivoted, possibly against their own, like Kathy's like screaming in the sky, but like there's a lot of white dudes making announcements and celebrations, you know what I mean? They're marketing around a lot of white dudes, which I'm sure she absolutely hates. So I bring all of this up to say, I think it's okay to criticize them for the real hatchet hack job way that they removed this, and yet still praise them and kind of say, yes, you did do the right thing here by removing that stuff in general. Like, I strongly feel that you need to get that shit out of there. You need to at least chop it by 90%. That's what I would do. And so I think these comments from Bernthall just crystallize all of that conversation. We've been talking about this a little bit here, a little bit there for weeks. And look, at the end of the day, is this, for some people, this is maybe an uncomfortable conversation or whatever. And by the way, there are some people out there that are genuinely going to be mad that this direction is happening. And my advice is to just ignore them. They really don't matter. Like, let them scream into the void. They didn't show up for Daredevil. They didn't show up for Brave New World. They didn't show up for the Marvels. Fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, honestly. And you would make a mistake by getting in a fight or an argument with these people, you know, or like trying to shove them down. Like, no, just like enjoy the fact that they lost and that things are going in a better direction. It's just the pendulum swinging back to more of a regular place. And the pendulum always swings, you know. We could get to a point where we're like, damn, even I'm sick of these straight white dudes. What the fuck? And then when we need to, you know, swing back, it's all good. But we are in a phase right now where things are swinging. I think swinging at like a really good time because I think Doomsday and I think Secret Wars. I think the levels of testosterone in those movies will be very high, which is good. Perhaps even higher than they were in Infinity War and Endgame, which could be interesting. Because in some ways, dirty little secret, the Russos actually started some of this shit. You know? Like they did. Bitch Boy Thor, Bitch Boy Hulk. Yeah. So, just kind of wanted to bring this up. I think it's a piece with John. You know, a lot of people are going to share this and have different opinions about it, this, that, second, and third. But I just wanted to express, honestly, what I think is going on. This is, in a way, of course, this is my lensing of it. This is what I think is going on. So it's not like I 100% know this. I have heard that Feige has literally told people at Marvel, we tried that stuff. It didn't work. We're not doing it anymore. And you know exactly what stuff I'm talking about. That's not confirmed. It's just what I heard. So I think good times are coming. It's a shame that a few of these projects had to be goobly glob because of that change and that shift. But ultimately, I'm still glad that the shift is happening. I still think much better stuff is coming and less divisive stuff is coming. So that's the whole report about John Bernthall. Now we need to talk about Daredevil Born Again and Madam Web. And because they better fucking shift real quick because this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy here. Okay, so check this out. This is okay. Let me just say it. Madam Web had more views, 16 million, on Netflix in its first 2 weeks streaming than Deadpool vs. Wolverine on Disney Plus. 15.8. So it's very close. It wasn't like a blowout. But I want to repeat that, and we gotta like break down what's happening here, okay? So, Madam Web, guys, which was memed on to death. I mean, Sydney Sweeney herself was shitting on that movie on SNL. So bad. Okay, abysmally low box office, the joke of the town, the butt of the joke. That movie did more views in its 2 weeks of premiering on Netflix than Deadpool and Wolverine, which is a $1.3 billion grossing rock star hit of a movie that took over social media the entire month. It was an incredible experience. People love that movie. Do you see what's going on here? Do you see? Do you fucking see what's going on here? Madam Web, 16 million views in its first 2 weeks. Deadpool and Wolverine, 5.8 on Disney Plus. Now, there's a couple of different reasons, a couple of things going on here, okay? Number one, this shows the Netflix effect, the strength of Netflix as a platform. And frankly, I think they're still just so far and away ahead of every other competitor. Amazon Prime might be the closest one, and Prime has been doing very well. But Netflix is king. You know, Netflix is king, and it's just so accessible. It's like the Coca-Cola of streaming. Everybody fucking has it. Nobody ever gets rid of it. It's crazy, you know? Netflix is a giant, a behemoth in the industry. But conversely, we have to address Disney Plus. Disney Plus is such a stinker. Disney Plus, which initially saw all this great growth and really did surprise a lot of people with how it was able to capture audience during the pandemic, lockdown, etc. Disney Plus, I think, has become the laughing stock of streaming. Max has a show that's hitting Nielsen charts right now. I think it's called The Pit. I'm not super familiar with it, but I know it's doing well. It has like 30% of the subscribers that Disney Plus has, and they can't get anything to trend other than Bluey. It's crazy. So I think a couple of things are going on here. I think number one, nobody really uses Disney Plus like that. When you go to watch something, I've made this point many times, but it's just true. Think about it like this. When you go to watch something, right, either at night or, you're chilling in the afternoon on the weekend or something, or maybe you're insanely unemployed. When you go to watch something, how often are you putting Disney Plus on and then browsing the catalog? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like never. Never. If you go to Disney Plus, it's usually for the new coming show that's going to drop, or to put Bluey on for your kid or something like that. That's for all for Disney. But Disney Plus is not a platform. Like, you don't even think about the library that way. You don't go to Disney Plus and be like, what's on Disney Plus? You kind of do with Hulu, right? But not with Disney Plus. Netflix is like browsing cable channels. Like, everybody puts Netflix on, and it's that famous thing of like spending so much time browsing Netflix as opposed to actually watching stuff. And that has to do with their tech, the algorithm, recommended stuff. Really, like, Netflix just has incredible technology and Disney doesn't. So I think that's part of this story. But you know what the other part of this story is? And this is going to trigger some people. Deadpool and Wolverine is actually not that good of a movie. I know, but it's true. I think after the hype died down for this thing, I think people basically realized they don't really need to watch it again. Like, really, like, do you guys really want to watch Deadpool and Wolverine again? Like, is there a draw to go watch Deadpool and Wolverine again? Well, a lot of you are saying yes. You are, of course, the most hardcore of the hardcore when it comes to Marvel, and I get it. But I think the big answer for most average people is just no. And in fact, I'm going to say something really crazy, perhaps blasphemous. Perhaps blasphemous. I think your average person obviously did not see Madam Web in the theaters. I think your average person did see Deadpool and Wolverine in the theaters. Think about it. 1.3 billion to like, what, 150 million worldwide or something like that? Like, dude, I don't know what Madam Web made. Let's look it up. Madam Web made like nothing. It might have even been lower than 100 million worldwide. Let's check it out. Madame Web. Let's see, dude. I need to see. Oh my God, just over 100 million worldwide. Jesus. 43. Oh my God, domestic. Okay, yeah, so terrible. Okay, the point is this. I'm going somewhere with this. I think to your average person that's just looking to watch something, maybe zone out, kind of scroll on the phone while something's in the back, like, people, like, we're just looking to chill out, right? I think for most people, watching Deadpool and Wolverine for like the second or third time is actually way less attractive than watching Madam Web for the first time. It's you haven't seen it. Is it as bad as they say? Well, I wasn't going to check it out here. I wasn't going to pay for it here, but now it's just on Netflix. I think seeing Madam Web for the first time brings more value to the average person than watching Deadpool and Wolverine for the second, third, or fourth time. I mean, frankly, even for myself, I feel that way. Right? So it's just, it's kind of interesting. Now, there's another side. To be fair to Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine was probably such a hot movie that most people didn't wait for it to go to Disney Plus. Most people either purchased it, rented it, or pirated it to watch it again. Okay? So that's fair. That's totally fine. But like, bro, I think this is just one more sign of like a serious disconnect. Like Disney Plus has done so much damage to the Disney brand, in my opinion. And this, I think, is just another example of this. I mean, just listen to the headline again. Just listen to the headline again. Madam Web had more views on Netflix in its first 2 weeks streaming than Deadpool and Wolverine on Disney Plus. My God. Fascinating. So we don't fully understand what it means, but I thought it was such a shocking story that I wanted to get in here. I wanted to explain it. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I think is going on here. They need to make better movies, for sure. But then again, I don't think Madam Web is a good movie either. So it's an interesting tale of new consumer behavior, streaming services, oversaturation. All these interesting things are going on here. Either way, this is a crazy fucking headline. So maybe you have a take. Maybe you have something you want to say about it. Maybe you want to be like this dingus in the chat that's like, that's not a story, you know? Whatever you want to do, feel free. Put it into the chat. I think it's time. I think we should get into the Q's and the A's, ladies and gentlemen. Should we do it? Should we get into the Q&A? What's on your mind? What are you thinking about? Let's do it. Let's get into the question and answer portion of the show. I'll go over all of the super chats and the member chats. We'll see what you guys are thinking about. And then we'll hang and we'll go into the chat as well, okay? So here we go. First thing today, Kyber Sith with a 5-spot says, wake up, fool. I'm up, brother. I'm up. Zach says with a 10-spot, very generous, man. Says, happy Monday, Nerd Vengers. I hope everyone had a great Easter. I enjoyed the FF video, Josh. I got to watch this after work, but much love and take my money. Nerd Vengers for life. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day at work and hope you're enjoying watching this on the replay. I had a great Easter. Hope you had a good one too, man. And then Zach followed up with a gifted membership. Very generous, man. Thank you so much. Rossi with a rose. Appreciate you, brother. Philip Hatch says with a 10-spot. Very generous. Says, shout out to the Nerd Vengers for making a bad day a bit better for me yesterday. Truly the GOAT community. 100% hard to create a community this good on the internet in this era. Yeah, thanks, man. Look, I'm sorry for your loss, brother. You know, and it seems like it kind of hit the family hard. And so the first thing is, of course, like just love for you and time, I think, will heal these wounds. And, you know, there's nothing I can really say to like make you feel any better or whatever. But, you know, the other side of it, of course, is yes, we have a great community. And I don't even know fully how we did it. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of you guys might not like to hear this, but if I see a bad egg, I ban the fuck out of them pretty hard, pretty fast. And I know that might seem crazy and authoritarian. And sometimes I literally just get a vibe on somebody and I'm like, they're gone. So I think that is actually part of it. But at the same time, I think it's also just because we somehow, some way stumbled into a lot of really good, thoughtful human beings that get together and care about each other. One of the things that's so cool about the community is I'll watch you guys sometimes on Discord argue. And sometimes it can get tense, you know what I mean? Like even like me and Rob last week, right? Like sometimes it can get a little tense, a little heated, but there's usually an appreciation for the community, the Discord, the platform. And nobody wants to rock the boat too hard because they know I'll fucking swoop in and ban their ass like that. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the community, and we've got some really good people here, and I'm very grateful for you guys. So thank you. Xavier says, you think the mall show will have 8 or 16 episodes? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I hope it's ample. I hope it's supple. But other than that, I have no idea. Braden says, 16 months, Nerd Vengers for life. Josh needs a haircut. Hashtag unity. Hashtag save us, Kevin Feige. Anyone else doing Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster today? Guys, 120 gigs? 120 gigs, though? Like, I think the Oblivion remake looks dope as hell. 120 gigs, though? Like, who just has 120 gigs? Just, like, good to go. 120 gigs? I mean, it looks cool, though. I do want to play it. It's Oblivion. I know. Oblivion's great, dude. I loved Oblivion. I don't know. This is a tough one. How many of you guys are playing it? Throw a 1 into the chat. Are you getting it today? Javier Mendez with a 10 spot says, cheers to baby mama Shin Hati. Wait, what? She's having a kid? Yeah, cheers to Shin Hati, though. She's cool. I like her. I don't like sand says, I'm so glad Dave is bringing George's mall and talent treatment story to fruition. Den of Goats with the mall scoop a couple of weeks ago. Unite. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing too, and I'm excited about it too. It's fun to see people excited about this shit. You know, I was glad. I'm glad it's happening. I'm glad people are excited about it. It's a W, man. That's a Star Wars W. Appreciate you, man. John Cross says, Andor watch party tomorrow. Let's go. Wait, what? What channel? Where's that happening? Braden says, did you see Andrew Garfield's Spidey comments? I did. So I saw people speculating that maybe this has to do with Secret Wars. I think it actually has to do with Spider-Man 4. And I hope it's more than that, man. I want to see Andrew be the Spider-Man of Sony's next thing. That's what I want. But I guess we're going to have to see. How that goes. Rossi says, what about the Mando movie trailer? Thoughts, Josh? I mean, it's not really doing anything for me. I thought the hallway scene in the action was really cool. So I guess, like, if it's just like a little side mission buddy cop thing that has some fun moments and there's really cool action, like, will I enjoy that? Absolutely. Will I feel a little bit like, why is this a movie? Probably. So, I don't know. I'm like still... Overbound says, glad you have seen the light with Star Wars. Its 50-year legacy is too big for KK to destroy. I hope you're right. Plus, we got Dave's stuff, and he seems to be adapting George's sequels where he can. Yeah, I think Dave's doing Lord's work, man. I truly believe that. Man. So happy for that dude. And I'm so grateful that he is that he's there and that he's putting this stuff together. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, it could well be the case that she can't kill it, which would be great. And I just am shocked that there's stuff I'm actually looking forward to. Like, and you guys know how negative I am on Star Wars. I mean, I'm so negative on Star Wars. Like, let me put it to you this way, okay? Obviously, my run on Nerd Theory with Theory was, it boosted me a lot, right? Like, a lot of you guys came in from that, okay? So think about how much I must not like Star Wars. That I know a lot of my audience came from a Star Wars show. And sometimes you guys will ask me Star Wars questions, and I still will be like, I don't give a fuck. Think about how upset I have to actually be with the brand in order to do that. That's how negative I am on Star Wars. And yet, somehow, I'm excited about some Star Wars. I can't even believe the words are coming out of my mouth. I can't even believe it, but it's true. It's authentic. It's real. I'm really excited. It's not an act. So it puts things into perspective a little bit. You know what I mean? Joshua says, saw something about Doomsday getting 2-part. Figured it's fake, but wondered if you've heard anything about that. Yeah, it's fake, brother. That's fake. Benjamin says, I heard there was some idiot who saw Madam Web 3 times in theaters. Oh, boy. Yeah, I heard that too. Xavier says, break down the Doomsday statues. I don't know what they are. I want to be clear here. I didn't reach out to any sources. I haven't heard what they are. I think they're fallen X-Men. I think that's the X-Mansion, and I think that's Charles's people, and the statues probably represent X-Men that have fallen, a.k.a. ones that wouldn't sign the contract to be in Doomsday. We're like, Feige's like, oh, you don't want to be in the movie, huh? Well, you died then. Off screen, we'll put a statue up for you. I don't know. I mean, again, I haven't heard that. That's just my speculation. Paradise says, years ago, someone said there won't be a streaming war because Disney has nukes. Really interesting to see how they managed to fumble all of them. Yeah, no, they messed it up pretty badly. They did. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. I think they need appointment television. I think they need to reevaluate how that's all going to work. Maybe they can turn it around, you know, but they have to like make up ground now. Like people have turned on them so hard. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. C. Fisher says, Josh, you checking out Sinners? Nah, man, I don't like horror movies. I'm really happy for the movie's success, though. It does seem like it's doing really well. And it's also so weird that like the Hollywood trades, like I've never seen the Hollywood trades be like, hey, this movie opened to 60 million, but it's still not profitable, has a long way to go. Like, dude, remember when they made fucking numbers up for Captain America? You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's so obvious. And some people are like, oh, it's racism. It's racism. No, it's not racism. It's insulary, like, it's business, because Coogler's movie will revert back to his estate in 25 years. So basically, a lot of people in Hollywood, probably really powerful people, want to diminish this movie so that they don't ever have to make this fucking deal again. Like, that's what it is. They don't want anyone working outside of their systems, like George or Mel Gibson. They don't want anybody working outside of their systems to have success, because that diminishes the value of Hollywood and the Hollywood banking system and the Hollywood accounting and all of that, right? So that's what I think is going on. And look, it's crazy. It's a damn shame. But I also think, like, Hollywood's fucking losing that one, brother. Like, they're just losing that one. People are seeing it for what it is. Or I don't think they're even seeing it for what it is, but they see it as not real. It's not authentic. It's kind of interesting. Andrea says, seems like Star Wars might finally be moving into George's sequel territory. Sam Witwer's comments about forgotten lore had me stoked. Ahsoka season 2 hype, much love. Hell yeah, brother. No, I'm excited for all that stuff. And like, look, those guys are like carrying the torch. Like, those guys are legitimately the only reason we have anything to look forward to. I'm talking about Dave. I'm talking about Sam. The people that love George's shit. They're the only reason that we have any possible reason or anything to be looking forward to. Like, that's what it is. Brian Amick says, Thunderbolts, please go positive in the box office. Have a good day, Josh. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll see what happens with Thunderbolts. I'm very interested. I mean, I think the movie's going to be incredible. It's just a big test of, like, where are Marvel fans at? Where's the mass audience at with comic book shit? Because nobody knows who the Thunderbolts are. Will it be enough for people to be like, oh, it's actually a really good Marvel movie? Will they be like, okay, I don't really care about the Thunderbolts, but shit, good Marvel, I'm in. We'll see. We're going to find out. And that's next week, so that's really cool. By the way, we'll get all kinds of spoilers Tomorrow they're doing fan screenings, so a bunch of people will spoil stuff. I don't really think there's too much to even spoil, except maybe some post-credit scenes. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. David says, I think it would be dope if it's revealed that X-Men, not just 616 Avengers, have also been causing incursions with their time travel shenanigans. You know, actually, the TVA talks about how that doesn't matter in Deadpool and Wolverine. Could, you know, maybe they could change that. Maybe it was just the interpretation of that character, because I think it's Paradox. But there is some lines in that movie that kind of indicate that shit don't matter. Like the fact that they time travel all over the place, they don't really care about that. Meaning it's not causing incursions. But we'll see. Watch those wrist rockets says you should go see Chicken Jockey. Phew, hell no. Johnny Tsunami says, me, when hearing Star Wars is turning for the better. Hawkeye Ronan, don't give me hope. I know, right? I feel a little like that too. It does feel a little salty. You know? I guess I'll check out the next one, you know? Locationary says with a 5 spot, the Mando movie trailer looked like a family fun film to me. Probably won't be groundbreaking, but I think families would enjoy it. Yeah, maybe that's what they're counting on. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I guess for me, like, I'm going to see it. The question is, will I support it with my platform? AKA, like, dude, this shit's great. You got to see it. And then the other question is, like, will I see it multiple times? Will I contribute as an influencer to help? And then will I actually tangibly help with my wallet? Those questions I don't know how to answer, but I will go check it out. You know, I know that for sure. Rashi says, whether you like Dave and his takes on Star Wars or not, he seems like a nerdy and uplifting dude. Crying for Rey, the Ahsoka Season 2 panel was great with Hayden. Yeah, I totally agree. He's a good dude. Salt of the earth, blue-collar Pittsburgh boy. I mean, I've met him. You know what I mean? Like, we went to the same college. He won an alumni award. He came back and, dude, like I really like Dave, you know, and he told us the whole story of how he went to Hollywood, working on King of the Hill. Like, dude, I've listened to this man speak for hours, like in front of my face. So I really like this guy. But watching what he's doing now in the trajectory, like even back then, we would not have guessed that he would be CCO and potentially co-president. Dave is, he's a great guy. Absolutely incredible. And he also loves George Lucas. Loves him. So long as that guy's still around, hell yeah. And I think he gets it. I think he gets it, you know? Yeah. All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns? I'll hang in the chat for a little bit. What are you guys thinking about? What's on your mind? Your Iron Man tweet blew up? Yeah, it's at a couple million views right now. Couple million views. Do you think Fantastic Four will make $1 billion? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2. I didn't watch that. I don't know what it is. Grant Morrison writing for DC/Batman. I was hoping for him to be over at the Marvel DC crossover. What big name do you think they'll get for it? My pick is Jeff Johns if Morrison isn't doing it. Oh, for the crossover? Yeah, I don't really know. That's a good question. I don't really know. Thoughts on the new Ultimate Universe in the comics? I'm having a lot of fun reading it. Yeah, it's cool. It's very good. It's very effective. I'm liking it a lot. So we'll see where it all goes because, you know, even the first Ultimates run started out really strong and then gets really goobly glob. Like Catalysm, like almost killed that whole universe. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Have I watched Devil May Cry? Yeah, I watched about half of it. I like it. I do want to finish it, but there's just other stuff I'm enjoying a little bit more. Like this new Lazarus show. Yo, that's my show, man. That is my new anime. Like, dude, I love Lazarus. I think it's great. What do you think it means with absolutely no Ray project updates? It just means, I think it means it could mean one of two things. Number one, Bob Iger is like, hey, Kathy, last time you opened up your trap about this 5-head Mary Sue, our stock price plummeted. Maybe shut the fuck up about that shit. That could be one. That's one option. Number two, it's possible they've actually full on tried to pivot away from that, but I just don't see it, man. Like all of the Kinberg movies are Ray movies. This movie with Levy is supposed to be a Ray movie, right? So that's 4. If they do Charmin Obid Chinoy, that's 5 Ray movies. And I've heard there's another one. So, as I've told you guys, I think there's competing ideas for how this should all go. What I was told going into Celebration was they're going to... like, the substance of what is happening will not be focused on. There'll be announcements, there'll be things going on, but we won't have a substantive answer for are we going this way or that way. Meaning, Kathy's still holding on to hope that she can shove as much Ray down our throats as is possible, and there are other people there that are like, yeah, I don't know about that. So, that's my best guess. I'm not feeling great about it. I'm not feeling super bad about it. Like, we're just gonna have to wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Having a cameo doesn't make it a Ray movie, though. That's true, but I will still absolutely hate it. You know what I mean? Like, that's absolutely fair. But, like, imagine a Ray cameo. Like, let me just say it like this. Imagine you're having a good time with the Sean Levy movie. Dude, the goss is good. Holy cow, these villains are cool. This 50-year-old kid, man, he's got it. And it feels like Levy's wheelhouse. And he's this young adolescent kid. And like, dude, this is awesome. And then Ray. I mean, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. There's nothing good that will come out of that, in my opinion. However, if there is somebody to restore Ray, I suppose Sean Levy could be the guy. We'll see. We'll see. But, yeah, no, I just, even if it's a cameo, like, no, thank you. Jay Robbins says, noticed at Celebration, Ryan Gosling, Sean Levy, and others made comments about making it for the fans. Felt intentional. Nerd Vengers for life. Yeah, there's smart people over there that understand what's going on. Kathy is just not one of them. Locationer says, Ray becomes a Sith Lord and roided adult Grogu is our only hope. I mean, that'd be kind of wild. That'd be kind of wild. Yeah. A Sith Lord? Do we know who is the composer for the Jurassic World Rebirth? I'm sure it's out there. I don't know. Thoughts on the 9th Jedi getting a limited series? Yeah, that's cool. I think there's 3 of them that are getting that, right? Like the Ronin, the 9th Jedi, and then there was one other one. Is it a limited series, or are they just getting follow-ups in the new season of Visions? I don't know which one it is, actually. Is Sean Levy writing and directing the movie? He is, but he's co-writing it with the guy he did the Adam Project with. I thought the 9th was a full season. That would be cool. Why do you think the Fantastic Four makes a Billy? Well, there's various data to say that people are very much anticipating that movie. You know, Fantastic Four, pretty big brand. So, like, I've seen a lot of data. Like, Fandango did a thing, and I think it was number 1 or number 2. If you look at the impact that a lot of its promo has had, it's been very big. So I think that's part of the reason. But also, I think at the end of the day, if the post-credit scenes are what I think they're going to be, that will be enough to boost that thing pretty heavily, which is something it has over Superman. I mean, I think Superman's going to be cool. I'm excited for Superman. I might do a video this week and spoil like the big twist in Superman and some of that shit. But Superman, I doubt will have a cool post-credit scene. I think there could be something with Supergirl, which would be fun. And although I'm very excited for Supergirl is not even close to like RDJ Doctor Doom or like Chris Evans or like something like that Marvel could just rip, put into a post-credit scene, and it's like, brother. Yes. So that's kind of why. Yes. It's both a follow-up in season 3 for Visions 25 and then getting a full season. Whoa, that's really cool. Is that the only one that's getting that treatment, or is the Ronin getting that treatment as well? August is pretty light on movies. F4 could get the room to make the money. That's true. Yeah, that's true. No Ronin treatment? Lame. Apple have anymore. They're going to go into the mutants and more of their cosmic stuff. So like Annihilus, Nova Corps, maybe War of Kings, some of that stuff. Nerds Engaged says with a 5 spot, my brother in Christ, 120 gigs. Holy brother, I agree. 120 gigs. Psh, 120 gigs though. Rossi says, can't wait for Rey's cameo in Star Wars Starfighter. Then Josh plays the theater boos and screams on repeat for 20 minutes after the testing. Yeah, man. See, either way, we'll have a good time. The Ronin is getting a follow-up. Not sure it'll be a full season. Okay, roger that. Roger that. Only brokies complain about the storage space required? Okay. All right, well, call me broke then. So I ain't got no time for that. And also, I spent all my money on Warhammer. Quid Pro Quo says, hey, brother, daily streams in the AM is wild. Top tier commentary. Great community, bro. You're building. Hashtag Tabletop Nerd Avengers for life. Yeah, I mean, look, I try not to be cocky. But I'm really good at what I do. And I've got a lot of plans. Good things are coming. I saw somebody asking about Unity in the chat. I'm not sure what the context is. Unity is very close to official announcements. I have an artist working into Chapter 4 right now. Chapter 3 is getting its colors, finally. Finished. Thanks a lot, Todd McFarlane, you fuck. And so there's a lot of cool Unity stuff. We're not quite there, but what I can say is we're moving. We're moving, baby. If you are a collector, I know, Griff. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. If you are a collector, go check out the Discord. A lot of cool updates in there for you. Everybody else, you got to wait. Watch those wrist rockets, says Lazarus Watch Party. Maybe when it's all said and done, we could do that. Griff, yeah, sorry about the poster, brother. Josh is never cocky. Just look, it's not. People don't come here to see me brag. You know what I mean? They come here to see me shut up and dribble. So understand the platform, you know what I mean? Will you fix your Spidey poster? Yes! Gabe says, what if Doom doesn't show up in the F4 post? Will there be any build-up for Doom before Doomsday? Well, I talked about this in the video that I released this morning. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but all I'll say is this. I could see it going either way. I don't know. I mean, look, in some ways, Doomsday feels like it's actually the story. Like, we're all kind of like asking the same question, basically. And we're like, yeah, but how are they going to build up Doom? Well, it kind of seems like Doomsday is that. For better or worse, Doomsday is a movie that will build up Doom. Which, like, look, that could go well. That could go bad. I don't know if I love it, but at the same time, I am excited to see it. You know? So I mean, there's some ways they could set them up real quick, real quick, and do some really cool shit. Kyberstead says, Josh, Rossi and I were talking about it. Out of all the shows to do a watch party for, you should have done one for X-Men 97. True, dude, true. Is Josh still on the Marvel is Cooked train? No. But I might be back on it tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what announcements come out. In Doom we trust. Oh, hell yeah. No, dude, Doom, trust me, they're cooking. They're cooking. Do you plan on going to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters? Did you ask me this before? I feel like you asked me this last week, and my exact answer was no, because I don't like Star Wars anymore. But, obviously, I've softened that stance a little bit, So we'll see. We'll see. Andor season 2, though? Oh, yeah. I can't wait to shit all over it, man. I'm very excited. You should do a rewatch party for X-Men 97. You haven't seen it yet? What? You don't like enjoying things? Holy. Den of flip-flop fence sitting unity. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Do it? Yeah, we'll figure it out. I got some cool ideas for some streams and content, man. I was doing some brainstorming over the weekend. I came up with some cool things. Warhammer. Let's see some of your painted figs. Oh my God. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. All right, we'll close out the show with this. So I did a lot of painting over the weekend. See if I can... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You see this beautiful boy? You can't even get you can't even see all the details. But we got some of these boys done up. And then I'm really happy with how these Deathwing Knights turned out. You can even see like some of the weathering. Because I figured his shield would be kind of like messed up, you know what I mean? And by the way, these are 3D printed models. So I was telling people in the Discord, even though they're 3D printed, I wanted to do like impeccable paint jobs and make them just really pop on the table. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. This one hasn't been weathered yet, but he's pretty close to done. Yeah, pretty cool. A lot of painting. I love it though. Did you 3D print them yourself? No, I bought those off Etsy a lot. No, I bought them printed. I don't have a 3D printer. I think that'll be like maybe later this year or sometime next year I'll start messing with it. What's going to happen once one of the kids smashes the like button on one of the Warhammer dolls? Liam has already broken some of my Warhammer figures. And I tried to explain not to do that, but I think he's just a little too little to totally get it. So, super glue is pretty sticky. Grip says Justin hosts Rivals custom game streams every other Friday. We need you there. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll hit him up. Maybe I'll pop into one of those, huh? Did you fight him? No, I didn't fight him. Good job, Liam. Oh man, he's such a good kid. Hard to be mad at him. No, I don't like Star Wars anymore. And then just stare at the camera for 5 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, that's the content that's what keeps them coming back, Yeah. Happy birthday. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for our Monday show. Nice little show. Hope for Star Wars. I can't freaking believe it. Clarification on the John Bernthall comments. Really interesting. Either way you feel about it, I think it's interesting. And then Netflix, Daredevil or Deadpool. Madam Web, what the hell? Crazy. So, appreciate y'all. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Hey, not bad for a little Monday morning. You know? Not bad. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I'll even make a little video about some of the Star Wars stuff I'm looking forward to. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see, man. Good things are coming, you know? Let's just weather the storm a little bit. And I continue to believe that, like, it is just okay for us to, voice our opinions and our... Like, you can be upset about how some of this is being handled, and you can even feel very strongly about it, and then just kind of like, take a step back and be like, okay, but there's still stuff I am excited about. Maybe I'm still excited that they're making these changes, even though the execution is bad. Maybe it'll eventually get better. This leads us to a better Marvel fandom. So I'm trying to be as positive about it as I can. Yeah, we'll see. Either way, we're going to go through it together. I really appreciate you guys. Check out the video if you like spoilers. It's already out for the post-credit scene of the FF. And we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Do me a favor, huh? Open up that third eye. And wash out your stinky ass. Bye.